Hey guys, Connor Ganser, Doctor of Physical Therapy here, and today we're going over Zone 2 training for the endurance athlete. We'll go over what it is and why you should care, how to find your Zone 2, and then how to measure it during your workouts to get the best results. And then we'll go over a couple specific examples to try and help you get the concept. So first off, Zone 2, what it is a heart rate focused training methodology that is low intensity and helps you build endurance and cardiovascular efficiency. You are looking for a low to easy effort, typically about 4 to 5 out of 10 in terms of your perceived exertion, right? So like it says here, a conversational pace, you should be moving at a fairly easy pace. And this, as an endurance athlete, is where you should be spending about 80% of the time of your training to build endurance, build up capacity, and complete those events you're looking to try to do: marathons, half Ironmans, Ironmans, the whole gambit. Now, the way you would find your Zone 2 is using something called the Carvona method. So the Carvona method is an equation that gives you your zones for aerobic and anaerobic training based on what zone you're trying to do. Zone 2 will be looking for specifically aerobic training. What you're going to do is take your max heart rate, and we'll go over how to find these numbers in a second here, minus your resting heart rate, multiplied by the percentage of intensity that you're trying to do. So I said we're looking for a 4 to 5 out of 10 effort level, but in terms of heart rate intensity, we're looking for 60% to 70% in terms of heart rate intensity when you're training. So you'll take max heart rate minus resting heart rate times 0.6 to find the lower end of your Zone 2, plus then add all that to your resting heart rate. That's the lower end of the Zone 2. And then do it all again with 0.7 plus the resting heart rate to find the upper end of your Zone 2. Now, how do you get your max heart rate? The simple and easiest way, take 220 minus your age. Not always the most accurate for most people, but it gets you a ballpark estimate. The more accurate way to find your personal max heart rate would be to try some sprint intervals, either running, or you could do the same kind of thing on a bike. Notice that your max heart rate on either might be a little bit different just based on the amount of output that your heart can do in those certain activities. And then your resting heart rate, you want to take over the course of a week. Find your lowest heart rate, preferably when you're sleeping, by wearing a heart rate monitor like a wristwatch, Garmin, while you're sleeping. We'll go over in the examples that I talked about how you would do these sprint intervals to try and find your personal max heart rate. But with that said, how do you measure Zone 2 while you're training? Well, easiest way, cheapest way is to go at a conversational pace. So you should be able to exercise while speaking to somebody, but not necessarily mask the fact that you are exercising, right? So you should be able to have a conversation, but somebody will be able to tell that you're working out. The next best option, what you can add into that, is a heart rate monitor, preferably a chest strap heart rate monitor, especially if you're running. The wrist heart rate watches don't always work the best just because of the amount of jostling and the area that they're trying to record the heart rate. Heart rate monitor strapped around your chest is closest to the actual heart and gets you the best result and most accurate result. Now, it's best that you keep in mind both of these, mostly because during that time when you're training, your heart rate zone can actually vary a little bit based on how recovered you are, how hard you worked the days prior, and overall basically the outdoor external factors, temperature, other weather things, the hills, all the environment factors. Now, let's go over a few examples to hammer this home. Okay, so now let's go over a couple examples. And I've just picked a few people at random, totally random names. Never heard of these people before. But starting with Sarah. Sarah's a beginner duathlete. She is 30 years old, and she does not want to do sprints. So she would rather opt for the much simpler way of doing the Carvona method, where her max heart rate she just finds is 220 minus her age. So from here, what we'll do is take 190, her max heart rate, minus 55, which is her resting heart rate, where she found over a week of taking her heart rate while she was sleeping with her wristwatch on, times 0.6, the lower end of the intensity for zone 2, and then add all that to 55 equals 136 beats per minute. So Sarah's lower end of zone 2 would be 136 beats per minute. The upper end, we're going to do the same thing, but replace 0.6 with 0.7. So 190 minus 55 times 0.7 plus 55 equals 150 beats per minute. So Sarah would be looking to stay between 136 beats per minute to 150 beats per minute while she's training. And also noticing if she can be in a conversational pace during that time. Can she talk to somebody? Can she breathe in and out through her nose? These will be good ideas of indicators to let her know that she's also keeping at an easy pace that is consistent with these heart rates. Next, we have Dan. Dan is an experienced triathlete. He's 50 years old. He has an abnormally low heart rate, resting, and he believes max heart rate. So he is okay with doing sprints to try and get a little more accurate measurements to him. So what he's going to do, and I'll write this out here, to find that max heart rate is sprint intervals where he does a 1 mile warm-up, gets his heart rate in rhythm, kind of evens things out, gets it at a steady pace there. Then he's going to do 2 400-meter sprints. These are all out. So he'll rest about, give it 3 to 4 minutes rest between intervals. So he'll warm up 1 mile. His first 400, he's going out all out as hard as he can to try and find his max heart rate in that interval. Then he's going to take 3 to 4 minutes rest, walking, jogging, standing still, gasping for air, whatever he needs to do. He's going to do it again, and he's going to see if his heart rate goes any higher on that second interval. If it doesn't, then he has his max heart rate somewhere in that interval, the 1 and 2. If it does go higher, then he could possibly do another interval just to double check, but that's up to him. And then he will cool down in whatever way he feels best. From there, he's going to take his new max heart rate that he just found, what we determined is 160, minus 34 his resting heart rate, and multiply that by 0.6, add his resting heart rate on. He has 110 beats per minute as his lower end of zone 2, and then do the same thing with 0.7, and he finds his upper end to be 122 beats per minute. So Dan is trying to stay between 110 and 122 beats per minute for his zone 2 training, whether that's running, biking, or any other type of activity he's doing. So I hope that helped. Again, my name is Connor Ganser, Doctor of Physical Therapy. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.